Welcome back to Exotic Car Play Place, everybody. Thanks for coming back again. Appreciate seeing you guys again, but today we've got a great treat for you. Today we're going to compare the M2 competition with the M4 competition in terms of just a specification comparison and try to justify which is the driver's car. After all, life's too short to drive boring cars, so which really is the livelier experience? Which is the better car and better bang for your buck? Let's talk about it now. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Mark with Exotic Car Play Place. And so if you saw my video there a few weeks back, I reviewed the M2 competition, and it is a great little car. I really enjoyed my time in it. Why? Well, it is such a dynamic driving experience.
Wow, this is amazing.
Tons of power, explosive acceleration, and really is a car suited for the racetrack, arguably even more so than the M4 competition. Now the M2 has always historically been designated the driver car. It's a small, stout, short wheelbase car with huge brakes, 15.7 inch in the front, 15 inch in the back, equipped with either a manual gearbox or the 7-speed DCT. Either way, the car is an awesome machine. Now, that being said, there's no doubt in my mind the M2 competition is slightly dressed down. They use a lot of carbon fiber, but they cut corners in certain places, like on the door panels and certain areas within the interior that you can see they use plastic, where the M4 competition uses a little bit more leather and slightly updressed interior components. Now, where the similarities end and begin are in the drivetrain. So the previous generation M2 utilized a derivative of an N55 engine, which was a little hot rod, a little firecracker, if you will. Well, guess what? The new M2 competition now shares the same engine as you will find in the M4 competition. Only difference is the M4 competition has a different state of tune. It's hitting more boost, a little different tuning, produces 444 brake horsepower, while the M2 competition only has 404 horsepower because of reduced boost pressure amount. They've detuned it. And performance numbers, 0 to 60, 4 seconds flat for the M2 competition versus 3.7 in the M4 competition. How about quarter mile? 12.4 seconds in the M2 comp and 12.1 seconds in the M4 competition. That pecking order thing, they don't want the M2 competition to be a better, faster car than the M4 competition. So at the end of the day, they have to do something to maintain the buyers for the M4 series. So then how do you quantify value? The performance is one aspect, but what are you getting as well in terms of fit and finish and the cost, the outright purchase price of these cars? So the base MSRP on the M2 competition is 59 grand, while the M4 competition's base MSRP is $69,000 US. So there's a spread of about $10,000 to go from the M2 to the M4 competition. Now some of you are probably thinking, you know what, a quick tune and I can probably get the difference, the boost pressure back up in the M2 competition, and it'll be way faster than the M4 competition because it's smaller and lighter. But wait, no, it's actually not lighter. Now, the M2 competition is a great car because it's short wheelbase, it's agile, it's small, compact proportions, so it has that sense of tossability. But if you really break it down and look at the statistics, spec-wise, the M2 competition is only about 25 pounds lighter than the M4 competition. Even though it's physically a lot smaller, the weight is almost identical. So even if you boost the pressure up in the M2 competition, you're gaining really nothing. All you're going to do is maybe match the performance, straight line performance of the M4 competition. So again, it really boils down to what you want to use that car for. Do you want the track use or do you want to street use it? Do you want that sense of high quality fit and finish on the interior, or do you're okay with pushing that aside and just want the car for dedicated boy racer appearance? It really boils down to what your perception of value is. You talk about the drivetrain. Well, guess what? They both use the same S55 engine, the 3-liter inline 6 that has better cooling capabilities. It is virtually the same engine, but the M2 competition's version is detuned with lower boost levels. So that's why it only produces the 404 horsepower versus the 444 in the M4 competition. So Tuning could probably equalize that quite easily. Now, they both share the same carbon fiber strut brace, so there's a lot of similarities in terms of what gets moved from one car to the other. So how do you quantify spending the extra 10 grand? Well, again, fit and finish cosmetics are better than the M4. I would expect resale on the M4 competition to be probably a little bit better than it would be on the M2 competition. But if you really want to take the car to the track and wring it out, the M2 competition is your game because it's more agile. It's quicker in the corners, it's quicker steering and quicker response. The overall agility on the M2 competition is superior to the M4 competition. Now, in terms of ride quality, what's that like? Well, I can tell you, rest assured, they're both very aggressive. As a matter of fact, spending a half an hour in an M4 competition was enough to really wrench my neck and my back. After about a half an hour, I felt like I had to get out, park the car for a while, and leave it alone. Now, for a track environment, that's what you want. You want a car that's dialed in, very crisp, stiff, rigid, able to handle the corners without too much lean. So it depends what you're using, primarily street use or track use. The M2 competition, on the other hand, is dialed in there as well. Very rigid, very stiff, and even more bouncy in the sense that with a shorter wheelbase, you're going to get more movement, more jarring action in the M2. So at the end of the day, $10,000 difference, which one really is the better value? Which is the car that I would pick if I wanted to throw down, considering the price or not considering the price? Well, if these cars were equal in price, there's no question in my mind the M4 competition is the game. Why? Because it does have a little bit more power, it has more features, it feels a little bit more upscale on the interior. Other than that, I mean, the boy racer looks on the M2 competition are really, really cool. However, I'm sorry, it's a wash. When it comes to equal prices, the M4 is the game. However, considering a $10,000 deduction on the M2 competition, I would seriously consider the fact that the M2 comp would probably be my choice. If I was to go down, throw the money down on the table today at the dealer, the M2 competition with the optional wing on the back, just like the one that I test drove here recently, that is the exact specification car that I would buy. It's tossable, it's agile, it's very aggressive. It looks sharp, it goes sharp, and honestly, wait for the aftermarket, get the tune, and that car will be devastatingly quick. As it is, it's explosively fast out of the hole, but it will be just amazing.
Let's do that again, all right?
So absolutely, guys, M2 competition is the better car for the track environment. If you want something for the street, the M4 competition's your game. So everybody, I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you want to see the reviews. Check my review up here for the M2 competition that I did shortly ago, and up here, the M4 competition review that I did last year. Make sure you click those links. You're going to really enjoy those reviews. Thanks again, guys. We'll hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.